All right, welcome to Disturbed. Tonight we are discussing Season 7, Episode 4, 11-9. My name is Chris Mao, and with me tonight is...
A very sick Rob Southgate. Not sick in the head. Well. I've got strep. I've been sick all week. This has just been a tough one.
And just in time for the podcast marathon next week. So
yeah, perfect timing. So, and on top of that, I realized literally as we were going on that the podcast, the one on our regular feed, never went up from the last episode. Nice. So people, they're going to hear that one before they hear this one. I'm going to pop that on tonight when we're done, and then tomorrow I'll put this one up. So
awesome, double trouble for that.
Yeah,
that's good. So
yeah, I can't believe it though.
Awesome, and this was a great episode.
This was a really great episode.
I really liked it. Now my wife did not like it very much.
Are you kidding?
No, she didn't like some of the gratuitous stuff, but I mean,
okay, then she hasn't liked anything this season because this has been unbelievable.
Well, no, not the first really bad or the first couple, but the last thing she did not really like, the Chaz Bono thing.
Oh yeah, so, that was rough.
which was rough and kind of dumb. But besides that, I think she liked some of it, but it was just, this seemed like a kind of a good summation kind of episode, but it really helped progress the story, I think. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. I thought that. I liked this episode a lot. In fact, I think it's my favorite of the season because even though it's that, transition type episode, it flipped over so many cards. It told us so many things, stuff that we've been already, we're 4 episodes in. We've been talking about the same kind of things. We have a lot of answers, or at least we think we have answers.
Right. Well, I think it set some things up, and I don't want to say verified things, but I think it kind of guided us down a certain path. So I think it narrowed some of the things down, which was great.
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
I think so too.
This was all about Kai. This whole episode was about Kai, kind of building up his little army.
It was showing us the evolution of it. It was showing us how this whole thing transpired, and it was really interesting to me. Wait, I don't want to get into it. I want to do some of our business first. Can we do our business first?
Do our business first. Go ahead.
All right, because we got a lot to talk about with this. First of all, we had a comment on our YouTube video, so we didn't even have our podcast go up, as I mentioned, because duh. But we did have, hey, give me a break, I've been sick. But we did have a comment on the live video that we did. Carrie K333 wrote, I grew up near Rose Hill Cemetery. My dad is buried there.
Wow.
Beautiful cemetery. She's right. It's amazing. Like it's gorgeous. And there's some really amazing stuff in there. Like the Shed Aquarium is the big aquarium in Chicago. The Shed family has like a mausoleum in there.
Oh, wow.
It has like a stained glass ceiling that when you look up, it kind of looks like the Da Vinci Code. Like it's got all this hidden stuff in it.
Sure.
And my friend was saying that at a certain time of day, I believe it is, when the light comes through, it like fills it suddenly with this deep blue. Wow. So you look and feel like you're underwater.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a lot of cool stuff like that in there. And then they've got ghosties and clowns walking around. But yeah, it's gorgeous. So Carrie K333, you are correct. Rose Hill is gorgeous. Actually, my friend Orion just posted today. If you follow us on Geeking Out on Facebook, you can actually see this. He does ghost tours, and he's going to do a ghost tour through Rose Hill. He's got a show coming out called Spoon River. And to raise funds for that, he's doing a series of ghost tours where he normally charges $45 a person. He's charging $20 a person. So if you want to go on an absolutely amazing ghost tour through what is arguably the most haunted place in Chicago, Bachelor's Grove, Graceland Cemetery, Rose Hill, they all kind of have their fans. Rose Hill is right up there, though. If you want to take a ghost tour with somebody that really knows the stories in and out, definitely, and you're near Chicago, definitely go on Geekin' Out, Geek, the letter N out. I posted it today. It was just a post by Ryan saying that he's doing this, and I thought, man, this is so cool, especially with what we talk about on here. If I can get away, I am totally going to do this. So there you go. I give him a good plug. And Carrie K, thank you so much for writing in with that. And then I got one more. We didn't have any Facebook activity, but not surprising. Although we are putting up those discussion threads, and I am now posting a thread that has the phone number. So even though this one said the phone number was for the 11/9 episode, it's for all the episodes. So if you want to leave us messages about this episode, about the next episode, whatever, get in there and do it. But I wanted to look up. We had a really good tweet this week. I loved it. Gwen Steffens wrote, "I keep reminding myself that it's worth watching American Horror Story Cult for the podcast," and she tagged us in there. So hey, Gwen, thank you.
Thank you.
I think so too. Although I've been having fun with this season, I think it's been getting better. You know what I mean? I think this episode for me was a real highlight.
Well, I like that this isn't just. This isn't your typical horror like with ghosts or vampires or witches or things like that. Which those have all have been good. I thought Coven was great. I thought Freak Show was great. I thought Hotel was great.
Yeah, but they're changing it up again.
They're changing it up again and doing more of a. This is horror of a personal nature. This is like our existence horror, the American horror, not the supernatural horror.
Wait a minute. Is that why it's called the American Horror Story?
I don't know.
Chris, you're so clever.
I doubt that because this isn't like Lost where it takes 8 seasons to figure it out.
Right.
Thank you, J.J. Abrams. But I mean, I think this is truly about the horror that we are kind of living in right now. And I think that's great. I think they did a nice job of being. Yeah,
well, they're kind of exposing a lot of the things that are going on, and that is, once again, yes, there are political overtones to this, obviously,
right.
But I don't think that even though that's the framework and that's obviously what ignited Ryan Murphy on this, I think that especially this episode, it showed you how that was a tool. It showed you that there's an underlying problem going on.
Right. Well, because Kai plays both sides. He plays the liberals and the conservatives against each other, and he just wants people believing in him, where the cult part comes from it, I think.
Yeah, so. He's totally acting like a cult leader, which in the other ones, we got glimpses of that, and he kind of seemed goofy in the first one, like you were kind of like, is he just some kind of nut job? Here, you saw how plotted out the whole thing was, how he picked people and he got them to do things, and he owned them. That was crazy how he was able to pinpoint them. I still don't know why Allie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he obviously was able to, they were able to pinpoint Ivy.
Right.
But what is the advantage of torturing Allie? They didn't approach her to get her to be part of it, unless he's manipulating so much of this to drive her over the brink that she becomes kind of the figurehead of the cult.
Well,
could that be?
I think, I don't want to say I think my theory is still in play. I think she might be Fight Clubbing this. I think she might be Tyler Durden. I think she might be.
You really do, huh?
I have some big beliefs because they've showed him, and obviously we're talking about the episode that's a spoiler. He basically messes with everybody around her, but not her. So why would that happen? They only show bad things happening to Allie. Kind of like what happened in Fight Club, because a lot didn't happen to her, and I can't even think of what.
But there's a problem with that theory, because in Fight Club they were both males, and in this one, we clearly saw she is having female interaction that is clearly, there's no way she could not be a female. And the scene, hold on a second, clean up in aisle 3. That scene with Billy, clearly he's not going to walk in and see a woman in there in that shower doing what Kai was doing and going,
oh no, I think that Kai is just a follower, or Kai is one.
So you don't think Kai is the Tyler Durden of this story?
No, not at all.
You think that Kai is being partially manipulated by Allie, by the alter Allie?
Right. I think she'll be in charge because,
well, I mean, she's got a lot of issues going on. Maybe there's multiple personality. Maybe there's multiple personality mixed with borderline personality mixed with bipolar. I mean, like, this could be a mixed bag that is really going to explode. That's really possible.
Right. And there's a huge hole that we'll talk about at the end. The thing with the scene with Serena and the cameraman that makes things not believable, and we can talk about that as we get towards the end of it.
Okay, you want to talk towards the end about that?
Well, I mean, I don't want to blow it because I think there's things that we need to talk to about.
Yeah, before we get there, sure.
Serena, because I mean, I think there's a lot. So what I liked about this episode, they started with election night, and then kind of went back and led up to election night, but then also kind of went past it and how he did some things, because it explained Chaz Bono. It explained kind of the whole Jill Stein thing and the whole
the playing with of time in this episode was done really, really well.
Right. And I happen to watch Highlander too, which is all over the place. I'm like, a total sidebar. I remember seeing Highlander in college, and the first time I saw I saw Highlander in college. I was like, what in the bleep is this movie?
Yeah, right.
Which I liked. I loved it. But I was like, I can't tell this movie. It's no idea. Then I saw it like the second and third time. I'm like, this movie is incredible. And how they played it and how they made it work into it, and the time was good. And I think they did a good job here, basically showing the evolution of every character, because they show Kai recruiting Harrison. They show him recruiting Meadow. They show him how he recruits, big spoiler, Beverly Hope into the reporter, into his messenger, and then how he kind of got Winter involved.
And that played so well, because did you notice when she was the reporter before, because everything we've seen has been post Kai,
right?
Not knowing it was post Kai.
Right.
The way she was as a reporter was very different. We were talking about it last week, how we were like, the actress is too good to be that stilted and weird.
Right.
And it wasn't adding up. Something wasn't adding up. Right. When you saw her as the reporter before she's had interactions with Kai, when she was getting screwed over, she was completely different. And then after her interaction with Kai, she was all like confident. Right. And now she's playing a character.
Right.
Which is that they didn't get into that in this one. They didn't show us that part of it, but we have seen that. And I think
because they did that little reporting at the end where she
right, but that's where she was all confident. Right. I'm saying what you and I were talking about last week, and maybe even the week before, was how when she's reporting, she seems something's like she's faking it.
Right.
And she didn't look that way in the beginning of the episode, and then her demeanor completely changed after the incident with Kai. Sure. Okay. Now that's done. She is doing this. This job is irrelevant to her now.
Right.
She's moved above it. It's just part of the tool. So everything she's doing is kind of like, I'm just going to do my thing and move us forward. I like this choice by the actress. I'm finding it really interesting that if you watch them in order, you'll see a progression in how she reacts in front of that camera.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she does, and it's bad. Like that report at the end, the first special report, I felt like it was it's like some bad infomercial kind of reporting. It's like, and are our children safe? It was like right out of God. I can't think of the name of the movie.
She's building a dialogue that she's going to use.
Sure.
Number one, it's going to get her attention as a reporter, but number two, it is fully involved in this agenda.
Sure. This was like straight out of Starship Troopers, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you want to know more? Are you afraid? Are our kids safe?
Do you want to know more?
Yeah. I think that was very Nazi propaganda. Like, that was the way they did it. And not that this is that to that extent, but it's pretty amazing how,
But I think Kai would like it to get to that extent, because really, if you think about it, what he talked about in this episode, he is doing it from a grassroots level. He is manipulating and changing things, and each one he reaches out to, and each time he has an effect, he's growing this. By the end of this season, I mean, he could have a fairly large army of people that are buying into his crap, and he's trying to go, rather than like a David Koresh or any of those other cult leaders that they rallied their thing, they isolated. He is looking at, I'm going to move up and get more control, bigger global control. He is totally playing the Hitler mentality of we're going to operate with fear. We're going to use that to manipulate the public, and I'm going to keep positioning myself until I am in charge. And it's scary. This episode, I think, showed you that, because the other ones, he seemed like a guy with an idea and a guy with an agenda, and he seemed a little nutty. But now you see that's part of the ploy too.
Well, yeah, but they've always built on fear. I mean, that was day one with Winter. The first thing she said is to Oz was, know what people's fears are, and give it to them, and then you can control them. And so that has been, and now that we know that Kai has been pulling those strings, because remember when he's talking to Beverly Hope or talking to Adina Porter, and he says what his majors were? His majors at Harvard, where he graduated in 3 years, were poli-sci and feminist studies. Yeah. So he knows a lot about how to push the buttons to get people to do what they want. And his sister didn't she do women's studies at the college she was at? Like, was
I believe so.
And so, I mean, I bet we're going to find out that there's that kind of tie in throughout other people that we're going to find. So
yeah, I bet so too. Yeah. So let's see. What were the first one? Was it Billy that we really saw first? Harrison?
It was Harrison. So, well, I mean, they started out with election night where they go in and vote. And the big surprise in that first scene is in walks Chaz Bono.
Yeah, and he's bleeding, and they're like, you need a doctor.
Right. And he's like, I need to vote. And he's all like nuts. And he's like, I voted for it. And his great line is, welcome to Trump's America, MFers. And then holds up a bloody stump, which is,
amazing.
Which is like amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, here's those fears. And then they go back, and then the next one is, here's Kai recruiting Harrison.
Yeah.
Who's obviously disenfranchised.
Yeah, and the whole time I'm thinking, what's up with this stump? I had no idea. I was like, how did he manipulate him into having a stump and being there?
Well, he brings him in. I'm like, what's going on? Because we saw him in the store when Allie
with clowns.
He has a
now
stump.
we know that he was that at that point. Yeah. He was under Kai's control at that point.
Exactly. So I mean, that's the guy I missed that we're talking about in Kai's army. So because he's the Trump person. Because I think everybody else that he's recruited have been disenfranchised, Obama or Hillary people, If
he's using this guy to attack Allie.
Well, he needs both sides to be able to do it. Absolutely.
Right. So, he's got to play both sides and just keep massaging the fear of both sides. I mean, it's crazy.
So it's crazy. Absolutely, it is nutty. So they show Harrison as the first guy that he is recruiting. And I love that one of the first lines he says, you're strong. He's like, well, there's other guys more buff. He goes, no, you look like you can move a dead body if you had to.
Yeah, right. What a weird thing to say.
Exactly. I mean,
although that is the first thing you said to me when we met. So
exactly. I like the size of the trunk because it's a 6.
That was the second thing you said to me.
Yes, I did. So, but I mean, what a great line, because he's like, I want to, work out, and he's very intense, and I could see him being, Evan Peters is a good-looking guy, so I could see him being charming to everybody.
Right.
He looks like a goofball with the blue hair. But that's
clown hair.
Yeah, it is the clown hair. But he recruits. He kind of recruits Harrison, and then they find out about cleanup in aisle 4.
Oh my gosh.
Which, I mean, as soon as I heard that,
how horrible that dude. When he's like, you go do it, and he's doing all this little propaganda and everything, trying to get him. And I was like, right there, it's not playing against fear. That is an inherent problem of superiority, using power incorrectly. I mean, oh my God, that guy's the worst boss. And what a degrading thing. And then Kai called it out. He goes, is it because you're gay? Because that's wrong. And it's like, yeah, that's wrong.
Well, he doesn't even say it's wrong. He goes, he literally puts him down too, saying that's like the most BS thing that could ever happen to you. And
it's awful,
man. Of course, I mean, he's obviously he's prodding the sleeping bear because Harrison is taking it. And so that's
I don't think Harrison had a lot of, like, it's not like our reporter friend that is full of rage.
Right.
I think that Harrison was holding a lot in, but I don't think he ever would have become a murderer. Kai really manipulated all of that. I think that our reporter could have popped, given enough. It would have been a lot easier to get her to do something. But for him, I think it was just like real personal manipulation that got him there.
He finds whatever that person fears and uses it. So he uses a Beverly, it's her rage.
Yeah.
It's her just outright rage, which we can talk about that line she used in there. Harrison has pain and anger. So he manipulates the pain. He manipulates the embarrassment. He manipulates the whatever. And then he's very upfront about it. He's like, what flavor gay are you? And he's like, he didn't know how to, approach that. Because you could tell he was kind of attracted, that Harrison was attracted to Kai. But, and Kai's like, well, I'm straight. But he goes, if you're in my crew, he builds that confidence. If you want some validation, come with me. If you're in my crew, I will fight for you. I will kill for you. I will do whatever it is to make you happy. I will be on your side and support you. And then that's what he does. He tells him, I'm going to support you. And then he backs it up because Vinny does a cleanup in aisle 4 again. And Harrison Harrison snaps at Kai's urging, and Harrison kills his boss. Which I thought was fair. He had it coming. Number one, he was like that.
I mean, if anyone was going to have it coming, it was that guy. But I think that it wasn't until that moment. I think it was he got to the point that he would do something physical, and then it seemed like he was going to stop. And then Kai urged him. Kai knew just the right button to push to make that all happen right then. And man, I mean, when it hit his neck, I was like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, you have to finish it.
Right.
And then he had a plan. He's like, we get away with it. I got all this. And I thought that it was done in such a way that Harrison could be questioning, was I set up? But not. Kai's already told him, I can do computer stuff. He's already told him, he's told him all this stuff, like, look, I got your back, no matter what. And I'm not even judging you on this.
Right.
And I thought, man, you really got into his head in a big, bad way. And then he goes home. Well, was it before? We saw him at home with
Meadow was in between. Like he spent a few days with Kai, got kind of the kind of got set up, got a soften Kai's method, and then the whole house foreclosure thing.
And you saw that drove him over the edge too. And and Meadow, I understand. I mean, she has so many things going on. It's easy to say, oh, she screwed up, but no, I think she has a lot of other anxiety and phobia issues that we haven't really seen come to the surface. She couldn't deal with that.
Right.
And I understand that. I mean, how many times have you ever gotten a bill? I don't know if you ever have, but I've gotten a bill and I'm like, I'm at a point in my life where I got to put it in a drawer.
Right.
And I just can't even look at it. And I think she reached that point with this, and she's got her melanoma, and she's in this relationship with this guy who's her best friend, but he's gay, and then she's gonna try to use her sexuality with him, which she is already weird with and uncomfortable with. And I'm just like, man, I think she's a really interesting character that we know that she's going to go along with him to a point. Well, maybe not. Maybe she doesn't know.
Well, no, she does, because she's definitely involved, but I don't know what
I don't know if she knows.
Knows about what?
what's going on with the clowns, with the killing, and all that stuff.
She absolutely does, because she designed the clown masks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that was her.
So she walked in on after they killed Vinny. She walked in on the hotel.
So do you think they killed her, or do you think that they're using her death as a manipulation there, also like faking it to make it look like something happened in Billy's house, taking any notion off of Harrison while Kai goes and kind of reprograms her to get her to not be a nightmare for Harrison?
I don't
see him killing part of his army when he's only got 5 or 6 so far. Why would you kill her when she's involved?
But the killing of her seems at the very end of this, and maybe she is
not
just so.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, because that's pretty much the last new.
We haven't seen a moment past that yet, have we?
Because everything we saw today was beforehand, was a prequel.
I
don't know. I mean,
I think once again, if we go back and we look at the clowns, I bet we can start piecing together who the clowns are. I think I've solved who the hand clown is.
Who's that?
The hand clown is the reporter.
Could be, probably, yeah.
I'll tell you why. In the preview for next week, they showed her it was real brief, but they showed her. She was wearing the same outfit the hand clown wears, where it's the like black and white shirt with the black suspenders.
Okay.
And I was like, they showed her though as a reporter, and she was talking on camera, and I was like, that looked familiar to me. Okay. And then I typed in the clowns, and there it was. It was like, oh, there's the hand clown. And I think that Meadow might be the one with the scalp. I forget why I thought that.
Well, so I would think about the 3 that. So let's jump ahead and talk about this. So part of like the whole thing with Beverly is that new reporter Serena Belinda, played by Emma Roberts. So she's back, and she plays a typical. I hate to say not typical, but kind of the bimbo girl that will do anything to further her career, sleep with anybody, do whatever. Yeah. And part of recruiting Beverly is Kai goes, I'll do something for you to prove that I'm the guy that you can follow. And they kill Serena. With the clowns kill Serena. And there's 3 clowns. So there's Blue Eyes clown, there's the girl clown, but not the hands, the one with the face.
Wait, which one with the face?
So there's 2 female clowns. So there's hands, and then there's another one that just has like a big forehead, and then there's
the one with the brain.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was one of the ones that killed the reporter. So it was before Beverly became part of the clan. So 3 people did it, and I think it was Winter, I think it was Kai, and I think it was Harrison were the ones today.
Okay, I am looking at. We're not going to look as smart here in a second. Pop Sugar did a really good job. If you go to Pop Sugar and you look up, we finally know who's behind each of the clowns. They went through and they used the pictures from the show and tried to match up the outfits, like I was just talking about. I'll tell you who everybody is according to them, and I think they're right. Kai is the 3-headed one.
Right.
We've thought that from the beginning, right?
Right. So the one that they're showing on the top is that Winter.
The what?
Okay, I'm looking at it. Hold on a second.
Okay, the second one they show is the one that has the ball gag and the leash. They say that's Meadow.
That makes sense for her.
Look at her. If you look at her clothes, it makes sense. Right. Billy is the toothy one.
Right. That was, and he was one. He was one of the ones that killed tonight.
And he's got all the holes in his face, right, which he's the beekeeper guy. Yeah. So that makes sense. They put the doctor as being the brainy clown.
Okay.
With his giant brain showing, it says here. That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
They show Beverly is the Satanist clown with the hands. They don't show her with the outfit, though. Yeah, they do. The clown has the outfit. That's the outfit I was talking about.
Right.
That's the outfit in the thing. And then Meadow is the one, or Winter is the one you're talking about. She's the one that has like the big forehead with the little bit of red.
Right. And she has like a Ruffles like a ruffle
dress.
black and white dress. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Winter. So it would be the three people. I hate to say the three people on set.
Wait,
So
are you looking at this thing I found?
I am looking at it right now. So
Photo 7, the blonde clown.
Yes.
Is Ivy, and she's wearing the same damn shirt.
Yes.
That one I did not catch. Holy cow. Now, when you go to the final picture, it shows them all in the room, but who's the dude with the elephant mask?
Exactly. I don't know.
We haven't seen him yet. He's all in stripes. And then I still contend, who's Twisty?
I think Twisty is made up in somebody's mind. I think that's the valid point that you made that last week. So
wait, what do you mean?
You said Twisty was in somebody's imagination and that the rest were actual characters.
Oh, right. I did say
Thank you. I'll remind you about your theories later. So
yeah, well, you know what? That could totally be true. It was Oz is the only one that's seeing Twisty, right?
Correct.
So maybe they're doing mind control on Oz to make him scared of clowns. So he's every time all this fear comes up, Twisty appears to him. Mm-hmm. But then we see the other clown that's going to mess with him. And was the other clown in that Twisty one. I wonder if that was that the three-nosed one?
No, it wasn't. It was somebody else.
Then it was Billy. Then it was Harrison.
It could have been, but it didn't. I don't think it was the green guy. I think it was somebody that just had a regular kind of clown mask on, but maybe I'm wrong on that. So,
yeah. Sally just wrote in here. Sally is on our chat line. Hey, Sally. She wrote, do you think Chaz Bono could be one of the clowns? I don't think we've seen Chaz Bono as a clown yet, just by the body type.
Yeah, and everybody has hands, and Chaz doesn't have one. I checked for that because I thought maybe because they made a specific point in here. Winter says, yeah, those guys are all dick nose. And I thought the guy with the three noses was going to be Chaz Bono, but he has a hand, so he can't.
Oh, yeah. And he's definitely not the elephant, because that would be, being a Republican and the elephant, that would make sense. But that's not the case either, because if you look at that picture, completely different body type than Chaz Bono. But there's another one leaning down with a white head. Could be.
Right.
Or maybe Chaz is not any of the clowns. Chaz is only the one that when they're going to attack these awful liberals, Chaz is the outside person that helps them do it. Because when the clowns attacked in the store, Chaz is the one that made that happen or allowed it to happen.
Right.
So could that be Chaz's role? And maybe Chaz has no idea that this is all these clowns are these liberals that are involved, which could also lead to conflict later when one of the masks comes off and he's like, wait a minute.
Right. I don't know.
So I don't know. Sally also said, could he be the leader of the cult? It could be. Chris, you think it's Allie? I really think it's Kai. But I'm not convinced that Allie isn't involved some way, and unbeknownst because of the multiple personality thing. I'm not sure. But then again, maybe not. Maybe all they're doing is torturing her. She voted for Jill Stein.
They might be torturing her just because they can. And because there was a Winter made a comment about how people just use their power and they use it as like aggression, and men have all the power. And Ivy kind of made like this glazed over look in her eye, like Allie was the one who had the money, so she was the one who dominated the relationship. Kind of like she's the sweat equity, right. And right. So maybe they are just torturing her. But I have a feeling she's going to turn out to be some heavy bad.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just kind of feeling it's not her. I'm thinking Kai is the main bad. I think they've revealed that from the beginning. We're going to see him orchestrate this entire thing. But I'm not saying you're wrong. It could be. I mean, it could totally be. It makes sense to me. I think this episode, though, flipped over so many cards. It really showed us, like, okay, we know who's involved. We know how we got them there. We know that these clowns are a real thing. And I'm dropping the bombshell. Here it comes. Clean up in aisle 4 for this one. Ivy and Winter. Holy cow.
That was crazy. Well, and I think when we suspected something was going on between them, we had said, was there more between them? And obviously there was.
Yeah.
Because I want to say not even. Kathleen and I were talking about it, and Kathleen's my wife, she was saying, she goes, she always makes stupid decisions, Ivy does, regarding Winter. And we've talked about it too on the show. Where it's like, oh, Winter left, but it's okay, we brought her back. And if as we looked at this other website, if Ivy is involved with the clowns, which we think she is, I think she's totally there to be recruited. I think there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Because they go to eat. Hold on. So they go to eat. I know a place. They go to eat at her restaurant.
Right.
Number one, what in the blank is she doing? If that's, maybe it starts off innocently enough, but we know where that's going. So what's going on? And did you notice that Kai took Beverly to the butchery for a cup of coffee?
Yep. Totally. Yeah, the butchery is like a safe place for them.
Right.
I think they're running the show whenever they want to there. I think that Kai is immersed in the butchery. Once again, maybe they're just trying to get Allie to crack to get rid of the one personality and let it become, or maybe they're like, we can torture her out of Ivy's life.
Mm-hmm.
We can have Oz, and he can be part of what we're doing. Maybe it's all that, and it's not that they're focused on Allie. It just feels that way because Ivy's trying to get rid of her by manipulating her with fear.
Yeah.
And she already had all this fear. She was already dealing with a lot of these issues. And if she has a therapist doing it and Ivy doing it and like all sides coming in on her, plus she has this fear with these clowns and they're feeding Oz with Twisty. Right. I mean, maybe she's just getting boxed out to the point she goes nuts. Ivy gets custody. She now takes him as part of their cult, and Allie's out of the picture.
Well, yeah, and so
because I can't imagine that she's going to gain strength and be able to fight back. I don't think that's what they're setting us up for.
No, but I think they're setting us up for where she becomes the other personality and becomes like way worse than they are.
Yeah,
I think that's a possibility. Well, and one thing I was just thinking about while you're talking about all this stuff, Kai recruits like soldiers. So they got the guy who can move the dead body, which is Harrison. They've got, like the artist person, which is Meadow. So maybe Meadow is integral, and they just did this whole thing with the blood to set Allie up. They got that person. They've got the messenger in Beverly Hope and Adina Porter. They've got the place to meet is the butchery.
The butchery,
They got Ivy. And so then maybe they've got the guy who can help them with the opposition, which is, and I can't think of Chaz Bono's character's name, but that they have this other place.
Right.
Is going to establish that. And he's been very manipulative in what he's wanted for his base of operations. Because like when he meets Beverly Hope, he's like, I'm running for student or city council.
Student council.
Exactly.
I'm Steve Urkel, and I'm running for student council.
He started really, really low level. He's running for city council, and she's like, well, there's no seat. So that might be before.
And we know what happened then.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, something else is going to happen, and that's weird. So.
And he's going to be running for that seat in the next episode, I bet.
Probably. Well, he already is running for it. We've already seen that in the future.
Oh, that's right. We see him going, and that's when he goes to Allie's door and shakes it.
mean, he's already said that he's run, so this is beforehand. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, nuts. What else in this episode? I mean, there was a lot.
There were some great lines that I thought.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's hear them.
Well, the welcome to Trump's America and hold up the hand was great. The move a dead body was fantastic. I thought that was a great line. Kai and when he gets Harrison, I'm just a mirror. Anything you see in me is in you, which I thought was very.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Was very powerful.
Did you hear when Kai said Bigley?
Bigley?
Yeah,
no.
He said something was Bigley. That's a total Trumpism. That was pretty funny.
Probably to do that,
he said it to Chaz. It was like this election is Bigley or something like that, and it just kind of went on. And I was like, they totally threw that line away, which is the way they should do it because you will catch those little things, and it was good.
Right. Where another great line was when Serena's talking to Beverly. I'm going to be on the Today Show one day, and I don't care who I sleep with to get there.
Yeah.
Using other terms, which was great. And then what else? There was one other one, but I don't think I have it written down. Oh, where Beverly is talking about rage, and she goes, "It's not like anger, but it's a lot like where you're the last one alive, but you're only there because everyone else burned." It's like, holy cow.
That's why I said she is it. Billy doesn't have that. Harrison doesn't have that.
No, he doesn't.
She has that.
Well, she's got Billy. Harrison is very much the follower. He's very much the puppy dog. He's very much point me in a direction and I'll go for it. Because even like the whole thing with the sombreros and all that stuff, that's so just so immature, very kind of.
It's also Meadow because she's like designing the masks, and she had the big hat on earlier. She's probably like, "Oh, we'll wear sombreros when we go over." And
well, or maybe they're just messing with them or doing whatever. Like, oh, here, Taco Bell coupons. I mean, that's so trivial and very kind of entitled, but they come up with that. But it's just a different kind of thing, and how he played Meadow too. He's like, "Oh, Meadow, you did such a great job," and knowing. All that stuff. Now, is the pinky ceremonies real time or is that in the past? Do you know what I mean? So, like, do we know the timing of when they show the pinky ceremonies?
You mean the one with Winter?
The one with Winter, the one with Harrison, and the one with Meadow. Because he's done Kai has done 3 pinky ceremonies. Were they like when they first got involved, or were they kind of current time in those episodes? I'm wondering what the timeline is of those.
I think those are all pre-election. They're all. I think what we saw in this episode was stuff leading up to election night. Okay.
Well, no, because some of this stuff happened after election night.
Right. But I mean, like the pinky. I think all that stuff. By the time Chaz Bono cut his hand off, everything was in place.
I don't think so, because the whole thing with Harrison, there's time. He literally meets Harrison the night before the election, and then he's done 12 workouts with Harrison.
Oh, true.
It's in the future,
and they were standing in line. He and Meadow were standing in line for the election, and there was no indicator there of anything. So
and they weren't getting kicked out of their house yet or whatever, and that was very kind of convenient.
Okay. So so you're right. My time frame is a little bit off there.
Well, no, I mean, but obviously, like current time in the show, at the part where I think we left and Meadow was dragged away and they're in the house.
Yeah.
Is obviously, I think the last date they talked about was December. I think that's when they finally recruited Adina Porter and got Beverly on board, was when she just came back from her stay in the hospital after she exploded, which was fantastic.
Yes.
I mean, that whole part was great. But so that was the latest part, but then they circled back and did some more prequel stuff before the election. Because I would almost bet that Winter was the first recruit, and then whoever Chaz Bono's character was the second.
Yeah, I bet. You know what? Well, no, Chaz Bono's character was recruited
election
after Ivy.
No, because Ivy met Winter the day before the election. That's when they went to that protest.
And Ivy and Winter were the ones that trapped Chaz Bono in that basement.
Right, but I don't think he's recruited her officially.
Oh, she's not officially in yet.
But I think she got in after she found out that Allie voted for Jill Stein.
Sure.
And I would bet that you're going to find out that right after 11/9 is when all that happened with Allie, when she was just fed up with all that stuff, because you can already see her being upset.
Right.
Even before.
And this is where she cracks.
This is where she cracks. Like, you voted for Jill Stein and we lost.
And maybe she witnessed the Chaz Bono thing, and that also makes her crack. Like, that's the dude, because they were there.
No, but they did it too. I mean,
they did it, but they were there in the room when Chaz Bono pulled the hand out. If she was standing there, Chaz Bono didn't see her face. She'd see him and be like, "That's the dude." And then he does that. Trump's America. She's got to be like, boom, up to here. And then to find out she voted for Jill Stein, it would be like, my world is just exploding.
And then she's got a new friend in Winter, and I would bet
which opens the door for Kai.
Right. Well, I would bet that we're going to find out that Ivy and Winter, something happened between them, relationship wise, and that Allie was more pissed that Winter was messing around with Allie than that Allie was messing around with Winter. I would almost bet I would bet that that's the way that's going to work at the end, unless they're just setting her up and saying, "Hey, we're going to drive her nuts, and this is what we're going to do." So.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else for this episode?
I don't think so. I think I think this was a great one, like in summary about, when Kai was stalking Beverly and put his medication on the table and popped some Adderall, I was like, does that lead to the fact that maybe the psychologist is the leader of the cult? But I still don't think so, because I don't trust him. I don't think he's an actual psychologist. Maybe he's a therapist, and maybe Kai just got information because Kai is great with computers, and I could see that whole Cheyenne Jackson character being, like, really wishy-washy and being like, well, I don't know how to use my computers. Can you help me?
And he got his way in that way.
I'm a genius. I'll do it for some treatment. Yeah, go ahead. And then all of a sudden he's looking up everything on all these people going, we can get these people. We can do this. We can.
Yeah, that could totally be it.
But I don't know.
That would make sense.
Because I was looking for, his name's Dr. King. I wanted to see it like on, how they put the doctor that prescribed it. I was totally waiting to see that and be like, aha. But, he's taking Adderall for his,
Unless Dr. King is actually the big bad, and he's manipulated Kai into being the tool to be the figurehead for all this stuff.
Right.
That could be too.
Sure, that could be there. Okay, so an interesting sidebar, and I know we got to wrap up, and that's good.
Go ahead.
We were looking up Adderall. So like Adderall is for ADHD. It's for it gives you some, kind of clarifies your thoughts, kind of puts things in order, kind of settles you down. If you take too much, it makes you delusional and gets you like all crazy. Think about Allie, who wasn't taking her medicine, but maybe Ivy, who does all of her meals, was feeding her too much and making her nuts. And that would
be really interesting.
Because she talks about, well, I don't want to take this stuff. It makes me feel numb or weird. Well, what if she, she's not opposed to drinking some wine. So maybe like, here, have some food and have a glass of wine. And she spiked it with the Adderall, and that's made her, all nutty and.
Yeah, that is really possible. That is really possible. So when she's feeling the effects of taking it, she's thinking, what's making me feel this way? Because she's having like a double dose or a triple dose.
Right. And it maybe makes her go a little bit nuts. And
I wonder if we went back on that and looked at what the time frame is when Ivy says, "Did you take your meds?" to when she has her clown interactions. Sure. Could it be within a couple of hours, all of a sudden the delusions are kicking in and they bring the clowns around and she just goes, boom. Could be.
It seems like months transpired. So it seems like there was the whole election and then they immediately go to Trump being in office in the story. So that is, that's November to beginning of February. So that's what, 3-4 months or 3 months?
Yeah.
I don't think Adderall is like you take a pill, all of a sudden you feel better. I think it takes time to get in your system.
Right,
so maybe she's, feeding her this stuff and making her nuttier as they go. Because there's that scene with the police officer and where the police officer is talking to Ivy saying, does your partner has she had any more episodes? And then Allie goes off, I'm right here. You don't need to, talk about me like that. Well, that's not obviously normal behavior. So
right.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to look at the timeline of it and go back.
It really would. Do I have time to? No. Do you have time to? No. But if somebody out there wants to, it would be awesome. I think that would really tell us something. Yeah, Sally, get on it. All right. Let's wrap it up. Yeah. You can follow us on Twitter at Disturbed Pod. You can follow us on Facebook at Disturbed Podcast. And you can follow us on, well, I don't know if we have an Instagram. Let's not go with Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at Rob Southgate. You can also follow me at R Southgate on Twitter. Chris, where can they follow you?
They can find me at theblueboxcafe.com or Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media.
Cool. And like I said, we will put up a discussion thread for this episode, and we'll also get one up for the next episode pretty quickly, so that you can just start getting in there. And the first one we did, we said, no spoilers. You know what? Forget that. Go ahead and do spoilers in that thread. We'll just put on there. There's spoilers.
Right.
If somebody reads it, well, I'm sorry. This needs to be a discussion thread about the episode. Don't read that until you've seen it. That's how I would have to treat it. That's how you're going to have to treat it. Maybe we'll get to a point when it gets to be, nutty, and we're like, yeah, we got to pull back on that a little bit. But for right now, know that it's a spoiler thread and get those ideas in there. And you know what? I cannot find it on here quickly enough. I was going to give our phone number, but I can't find it. Let's see if I can get it here. We do have a voicemail that you can call and leave messages at. So if you have thoughts about the episode, thoughts about us, thoughts about Adderall or the clowns, feel free to give us a message. And if it works, we will definitely add it to the show.
We will talk
the phone number is 702-907-8944.
And one more piece of business while we're talking. Coming up on since we're recording this before October 7th, we have the Southgate Media Group podcast marathon coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Saturday, the 7th of October. It's going to go from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. It's going to be on our YouTube live channel, on Facebook Live. We're going to have that out there. We've got 3 bands, 16 podcasts.
And the bands are all podcasts. So it's not like we just kind of put in entertainment. We got some celebrities. These are all real podcasts, but we have 3 that have music, which is really awesome. And a real diverse music selection too, which is even better. I'm super excited. This is going to be so good. Which is really cool. We got we have a very diverse podcast. And then we're also on our Capes and Lunatics page. We are doing a live, they're doing a YouTube live marathon podcast. With all different podcasts.
With all different podcasts from what's on there. And he's pretty much chock full. I think he has a couple of slots, but Phil will find a way to talk about something.
Oh, yeah, we'll get those filled in. You know what? So here's the deal with that. We've got the Capes and Lunatics YouTube channel, and that live feed for the YouTube marathon will be on there. The links will be at our website, at southgatemediagroup.com. Just click on the podcast marathon. When you go to that marathon page, it will have links. If I can work it out, I'm trying to have the live feeds on there, but it looks like I can only have one of the 2 live feeds working actively on there. We'll see. But you'll have a link that you can go to Capes and Lunatics from there. They will have different shows than what we have on our thing. Here's the deal, though. Both things, both Live at the Blue Box and Capes and Lunatics, will be edited down so that each show, all of the episodes, all the shows will end up on the Southgate Media Group YouTube channel. So you won't have to miss anything. But if you want to chat, you want to be in there while it's going live. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're going to post it on Facebook. We're going to post all that stuff on Twitter. So you will be able to see it, correct? Am I not correct on that? Yeah. We have a different YouTube channel than what we do, right? Yeah, it's a different YouTube channel. Right. So you can subscribe to it now. It's Capes and Lunatics. just type in Capes and Lunatics on YouTube and subscribe. And when they go live, you'll get a notification that that's live. And it's the same hours, 8 to 9 Central Time on Saturday, October 7th.
On Saturday, October 7th. And
so
then,
subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to Capes and Lunatics. It's all us. Capes and Lunatics are part of Southgate Media Group. But that is where the official second feed is going to be. You want to get in on this. And there are going to be, well, we're hoping to have some giveaways on there. I know of a couple of things that we're trying to get. And we're going to have all sorts of things live at the Blue Box. So if you can get out to Blue Box, we have raffles going on. Oh, I know some really good stuff that's coming.
Yes, it'll be fantastic. But excuse me, this is
any Doug Jones fans out there? Could be a Doug Jones signed Hellboy poster.
Ooh, nice.
Could be.
How about a hug? We could transfer.
Right. We got a lot more than a signature. But I'm telling you, that is just one of the things. There's so many cool things. There's exclusive from Entertainment Earth. There's some exclusive Star Wars toys. Terror in the Isles supplied us with that poster and some others. We've got gift certificates. We've got all sorts of really, really great stuff. So if you can be there or be square. Or be rectangular, watch it on your rectangular TV. And yeah, but the YouTube marathon is also going to have some giveaways. So I don't know what yet, but there's going to be some stuff, a few things.
We've got stuff happening, so it's going to be good.
We're going to give away Phil's socks. That's what we're going to do.
Is that not a curse? That's not a giveaway. That's
going to be undisturbed.
Yes, it is. It's just
boy, are you going to be sorry. Okay, are we done?
We are done.
All right. We will talk to you next week. Until then, Chris, you want to say it?
No.
Clean up in aisle 3.